Something has just happened that's shaking the foundations of an already haunting mystery. New evidence, sealed for months, has finally surfaced, and it might change everything we thought we knew. A single document, a recovered phone log, and whispers from law enforcement insiders are reigniting one of the most baffling missing children cases in recent memory. Tonight, we dive deep, not just into the events, but into the shadows behind them. What happened to two young siblings whose disappearance left a community shattered? Who is telling the truth? Who is hiding behind silence? And why, after so many months, does the case feel more alive than ever? Before we begin, take a moment. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Here on this channel, we uncover the hidden truths, the unspoken details, and the stories others are afraid to tell. Your subscription isn't just support. It's a way to make sure these stories and the people at the heart of them are never forgotten. Now, let's go back to the beginning. It was an ordinary morning. At least that's what the world believed. But in a quiet suburban neighborhood, a chain of events was already unfolding that would spiral into years of unanswered questions. Two children, Lilly, just 6 years old, and her younger brother, Jack, 4, were last seen playing in their front yard. Neighbors remember hearing their laughter, the soft sound of a ball bouncing against the driveway, and the creak of the front gate swinging in the wind. By mid-afternoon, that laughter was gone. No one saw them leave. No one heard a scream. It was as if the children had been erased from the street in bright light. Police arrived quickly, canvassing the neighborhood, knocking on doors, searching nearby woods and riverbanks. Helicopters circled overhead. Canine units traced scents that suddenly vanished, as if the trail had been swallowed by thin air. At first, suspicion fell on strangers. The someone lurking nearby theory spread like wildfire across social media and news stations. But within days, the focus shifted inwards. Statements from certain family members didn't line up. Timelines shifted, accounts contradicted each other, and soon attention turned toward the children's own mother.
Court records and witness interviews didn't just tell a simple story. They painted a portrait, and not a flattering one. It was a picture more tangled, more troubling, and far more complex than anyone outside the investigation could have imagined. There were prior domestic disputes, arguments that spilled into the street, moments neighbors recalled with discomfort. There were police reports documenting heated shouting matches, slammed doors, and frightened voices on the other end of the line. And then there was the bitter custody battle, one that dragged through the courts like a slow-moving storm. Attorneys traded accusations, each side presenting their version of reality. Beneath the legal paperwork was a toxic undercurrent, distrust, resentment, and a history that could not be erased by the stroke of a judge's pen. But perhaps most disturbing of all was what a veteran investigator described as emotional instability and erratic decision-making. These weren't empty words. They were based on observations, documented behaviors, and the impressions of those who had spent hours in the same room watching body language shift with every question asked. Still, despite the suspicions, despite the whispers behind closed doors, there was no solid physical evidence. Nothing that could survive the scrutiny of a courtroom. And in the world of criminal justice, suspicion without proof is just smoke without fire. The mother, central to so much speculation, denied every accusation. She told anyone who would listen that she loved her children more than anything, that she would never hurt them, and that her only wish was to see them come home. It was a plea delivered again and again into the cameras of local news crews and the notepads of reporters. Then came the first chilling break in the case. A neighbor's security camera, mounted high on a corner of a garage, caught a fleeting, blurry image.
It showed a vehicle driving away from the family's home shortly before the children vanished. The car was the same make and model as the mother's.
For investigators, it was enough to raise the hairs on the back of the neck. But the footage was grainy, the light was dim, and the license plate was unreadable. The angle obscured the driver's face, and without something clearer, something irrefutable, it was destined to join the growing pile of almost evidence. Frustrating, tantalizing, but ultimately inconclusive. Years passed. The case never truly went away, not for the police, not for the family, and not for the community. Every few months, there would be a surge of activity. A new tip would come in from across the country. Someone swore they'd seen the children in a shopping mall in another state or sitting in the back seat of a passing car. Alleged sightings poured in. Psychics claimed visions of where the children might be. Volunteers organized search parties that combed through dense forests, muddy riverbanks, and abandoned buildings. Each time, hope swelled, only to dissolve into disappointment when the lead fell apart under scrutiny. Fast forward to the present day, and here's where the atmosphere changes because something new has emerged. Recently unsealed evidence has introduced a disturbing twist. Never before heard 911 call recordings and partial transcripts of police interviews. Among these is one call in particular, a call that is now causing investigators to look at the case through fresh eyes. In that recording, a woman, believed to be the mother, is asked a direct question. When was the last time you saw your children? There is silence. Not the kind of silence you hear when someone is struggling to recall a detail from memory, but a pause that hangs heavy in the air. A pause lasting just 2 seconds. But in the world of behavioral analysis, 2 seconds can speak volumes. Experts in human behavior call this a red flag. It's the mind wrestling between truth and fabrication. It's cognitive load, the brain taking precious moments to decide how to answer in a way that aligns with a chosen narrative. FBI profilers we spoke to emphasize that hesitation alone doesn't prove guilt. But in the high-stakes context of a missing persons case, where every word is weighed and every moment counts, such hesitation cannot be